Today's episode of Coffee with Scientists is your host, Almas. I am starting the global chapter. I'm very much excited to have my first guest today. Her name is Clarissa Rios Rojas. She's a kind of a global citizen, I must say that, because she travels a lot, she works in science. She is one of the very prominent young scientists who work with the interface of policy and science advice with more than 13 years of experience in conducting and planning multilateral scientific and non-scientific projects. She is the founder and director of a nonprofit focused on non-formal education and very experienced, in managing the broad variety of professionals to bring on that platform for guiding, especially, young generation from Latin America. So without wasting any time, I'm going to let her in this conversation. So where is she? Dr. Clarissa, welcome to the show.
Hi, Almas. How are you? Clarissa is fine.
I am good, and that's really great to have you because normally I can see you are one of the busiest ladies, young researchers in science. So thank you very much for accepting this invitation.
Thanks to you, really. It's really great that you're sharing stories and inspiring younger generations so they don't have to start from zero.
Thank you very much. I just gave a very brief introduction about you, that you have a 13 years experience, working with science and policy and, different, you're kind of you're originally from Peru, but for me, you are an international, global citizen because you are always, traveling and doing different stuff. You're also the founder of a nonprofit organization. We would like to talk a lot about all this stuff, but let's start from where you are.
Yes, right now I'm living in United Kingdom. I got a position as a postdoc research associate at University of Cambridge. And this position is at the Center for the Study of Existential Risk, which is a center that focuses on studying events that can lead to the collapse of humanity. And some of these events could be, for example, the misuse of technology like artificial intelligence, or it could be that we are struck by an asteroid, or it could rise from nuclear war or bioweapons, for example.
Great. But how was the journey? You're originally from Peru?
Yes, well, that's been a long trip and long journey because UK is actually the 9th country that I'm living. So I don't know if you want me to start from my bachelor's, from my master, or my PhD. What would you prefer?
Tell me something about your childhood. How was Clarissa in her childhood? Where she was? What were
Yeah,
her
I was
dreams?
living in Huacho, which is a city that is 150 kilometers from the capital. And my family was very small. It's just my brother, me, and my parents. And I think I was like a troubled child. I remember that they were always sending me to the psychologist of the school, but I must say that the school was a non-school, so I guess I was very rebellious at that time, and I didn't like some things, and I would just say it openly. So I think that made me look like a troubled child. And yeah, I think it was like a normal childhood. I had a very loving family, and my mom was an excellent role model. She was always working and always helping us with school and doing everything, and so my dad. So it was a very equal home, and I learned that from there. And then when I was 16, I had to move to Lima because biology was not taught at the university in my city. So, like many students in Peru, we had to go to the capital where there are more universities and more variety of careers.
So you use the term troubled child and kind of rebellious. That's most commonly used for someone who is a bit different, who tries to be different and non-traditional. And by the way, these days we need such people who are non-traditional for changing the scenario that the world is facing. So we are really proud of for you being a bit rebellious.
Yeah, I guess my parents learned to love it with time. It must have been difficult for them to have to go to the school all the time and talk to the psychologist or to the principal and stuff. The good thing was that I have always good grades. So I guess that was the reason why they kept me at school.
Always
So,
an intelligent girl. And why science? Why you chose science?
well, I don't know if intelligent, but I think my parents always said that I don't have to be the first at school, but I have to be on the top 10. So since it was the top 10, I thought it was sort of easy because they always help me. And yeah, I think I enjoy a lot of classes there. And I think the main reason why I became a biologist was because of the library of my mom. She had a lot of cool books, and the ones that I remember the most are the ones of embryology, where you can see we're in 2 cells, 8 cells, 16 cells, and then you have all these amazing biology happening to create different organisms, and that was fascinating. And she also had the book of genetic diseases, so when something goes wrong and how the newborns were looking like. So it must be shocking for some, but for me it was like, wow, what are these pictures? Why is this happening? And I think that's the reason why I became a biologist, starting with genetics. Yeah.
Wonderful. And after, I mean, you did your master's from Peru?
No, actually, I did my bachelor, and during the last semester, I went to Finland as an exchange student, and then I decided to move to Sweden to do my master at the University Karolinska Institutet.
I mean, I'm from Pakistan. What I feel about my own journey was that one point where in Pakistan, I mean, that was a spark that took me from Pakistan, I mean, out of Pakistan, somewhere else for having my studies, and then there was a never-ending journey of exploring, something new and new. So, in the life of Clarissa, what was that one point in Peru? What happened that you thought about going out of your comfort zone? Staying at your home country.
Yeah, I think that my parents always put that idea on me that if I want to grow as a professional, I have to go abroad. It's interesting that they put that seed because we definitely didn't have the money to do that. But my mom, for example, pay for my mom and my dad pay for my English lessons. That's something that is not quite common in Peru. So that was a luxury for me to have this possibility. And I think that was the first path, the first push to really try to think about going abroad. And the second thing will probably be that at my university, most of the classes were theoretical. So it was a lot of theory, and I was really looking forward to be in a lab using all these up-to-date, cutting-edge technologies, and we didn't have it in Peru. Yeah, for example, microarrays at that time in 2006, absolutely nobody had it in Peru. So I thought that it would be good for me, my professional development, to go to the places where they really have all the equipment to be, so you can be a happy scientist that can just explore important things and stuff. So that was, I think, that the need to learn more and to have more practical activity.
Uh-huh. And how was that shift from one culture to the other, one country to the other?
Well, I think it was always for me very a lot of curiosity, a lot of excitement. I don't think that I was suffering too much. I left my hometown when I was 16, so by when I was 21, I was already sort of used to being far away from my parents. So it was not such a difficult transition also to go to Europe, because I think that our cultures are quite similar. If I compare my culture with going to Vietnam, where all the letters are different, religion is different, and the ways of partying or the ways, I mean, there are many similarities, but I think that with Europe, it was much more easy. It was much a smooth transition. And going to Finland actually was a really great opportunity for me to explore how a very equal society works and how that type of society looks like at the level of university, at the social level, everything. So it was a really good opportunity for me to learn from this Finnish society as my first experience abroad. And yes, and of course, by living abroad, I think, as you mentioned, you develop like a taste for new things and new conversations and new cultures. And I think that's what has been pushing me always to keep traveling and trying my best to live at different countries. When I finished my PhD, I actually wanted to go more to Southeast Asia and explore, but by then I already had a partner, and then you have to think, yeah, it's not only you don't just pack your things and the next day you leave. So this time we had to think it through, and then we thought like for those years it would be best to come back to Europe. But otherwise, I would probably be in the MENA region, and it's part of my plan. So now it's just a little bit delayed.
That's wonderful. What I like about you is that you're very much open to your experiences, and I definitely by the end of this video I'm going to share your social media networks and all the links as well where you share your stories. So from where that inspiration came, that were you always like this? I mean, open-hearted and extrovert, or there was a journey that you had, and by the end of that journey you learned that no, it's good to share what you learned, and nobody was there for telling you would like to tell this to others.
Yeah, that's exactly what my feeling was when I started doing this, which was in 2015. There was a point in my life that I thought that I've been so lucky going to so many places and having the opportunity to do research and science in really top universities. And I wonder why me? I mean, many people would like to be in this position, but it happened to me. So I thought that I would have to do something about it. And the first thing that came to my mind was to write a blog telling the stories about how I managed to study in Sweden without a scholarship, and which type of jobs I had to take in Sweden when I didn't speak the language, and how did I got my scholarships in Australia. So that was the beginning of me trying to share my experiences with the rest. And one thing led to the other one, and that's how Ekpa'palek was created, where now it's not only me, but it's a group of professionals sharing their stories, sharing their experiences through mentoring as well, through Ekpa'palek. And that's something that has grown by itself. And I'm very happy that many people share this vision to give back to their communities. And that's really what makes Ekpa'palek what it is. It's just people like me that feels the same way. And we are really thinking that there is a lot of talent in our countries, and we just want to help them, to give them a little push, to flourish and to unleash their potential.
What Ekpa'palek actually is, the name is very different. So people who are watching this video who are not from Latin America, they would like to know what's the meaning of this word, and what kind of services this blog or website or foundation or NGO, what it is and what they
Yeah,
offer.
yeah. So Ekpa'palek is really a community, and we have a website. And the word is not Spanish, since I'm from Peru, or Quechua. It's actually Shiwilu, from the Shiwilu language, which is indigenous language from the jungle in Peru. And the word means to teach a little kid to do the first steps to walk. So that's more or less what we aim to do in Ekpa'palek, to teach young professionals or students, to give them just some pieces of information that can be useful for them to progress professionally. And it's an organization, and we have a website, and what students in Latin America can do wherever they are is just to go to this website, and they will have a mentorship program where they can see the profiles of different mentors, and then they can just contact them freely. And the other thing is that we also have a blog where we share stories and tips and recommendations of professional development, and we have a YouTube channel as well. And you can see the same, but in a visual form. And sometimes we do webinars as well. We did one long time ago with United Nations Women, and those videos are uploaded there. And currently we also have a campaign called Latin American Women Influencers, where in 5 minutes, Latin American women tell their stories as well, like what did they study, what they encourage boys and girls to study that career, and how does it look like when you're working on that profession.
And how many members there are there in your organization?
At the moment, we are 40, but at some point, I think we were 60.
Okay. And is there some way, I mean, how you look for the impact? I mean, up to now, how many years you have this organization, and how you see it's impacting the lives of especially women from Latin America?
Well, we have been existing since December 2015 that we launched the first website, and I have had indicators since the first moment. And that includes a survey for the mentees that use our service of mentoring. And I can see exactly, for example, if they learn new tools, if they learn new abilities, if they learn from the stories from their mentors, if they teach to other students or colleagues where they learned, if they would like to come back, if they would like to come back as mentors. And then of course we have very successful stories when the mentees tell us, hello, I just got an internship in Chile, or hello, I got a master in Europe, or hi, I'm moving to US because I'm going to be on an internship there, or hey, now I decided to study chemistry even though my parents don't want me to, because etc. So there are different types of indicators. Those are the most successful ones, but there are also the most soft ones, which will be when they see one of the videos and they say, yes, I want to learn more about astrophysics because I think that's the profession I want to follow. But they don't have it in my country, so what do I do? And then they go to the blog and then they read the story of one astrophysicist from Guatemala that moved to Europe, and they can learn more about how to do it and get inspiration. And those are also part of the indicators that we have.
What is your research field? You have been traveling a lot and working with different organizations. You also have your own organization, and you are, I mean, I just keep on seeing you working with so many different things, multiple things at the same time. So how do you answer this question? Because it's a very difficult question.
Yeah, so I guess that my current field is related with policy and the interface of policy with science. So in one hand, I do research about the impact of emerging technologies, for example. And on the other hand, I'm always thinking about what's the bridge or what's the connection with policy and with global problems. So what I was hired in at the Center of the Study of Existential Risk is to conduct research, but mainly to be that bridge or to build those bridges between the center and policymakers around the world. So that's what I do now, and I know that it's not something that is very well known for many people. So it has been a really hard transition because I finished my PhD in 2016, and since then it has been like 4 years since I did that transition, and that required a lot of looking for opportunities, like going to conferences and get capacity building opportunities to learn about science diplomacy, about policy impact, government science advice, international affairs, and etc. There is so many topics that are important when you are trying to make the link between the scientific world and the policy world. So nowadays, I would say that my my field is a little bit of everything, because I need to know about economics, I need to know about philosophy, about law when I'm talking about climate change, when I'm talking about AI and ethics. So there are different fields, and I'm glad that I'm working in this realm because I can really learn a little bit about everything. And when I think about solutions, I can think in a more holistic way and not very narrow minded as I used to when I was just working on molecular biology.
Why this change happened? I mean, why you went to a non-traditional way? That is exciting, but that is much tough as well, because you need to see opportunities for your own. You always need to have, that motivation. It's not that simple, kind of like, okay, I'm going to give public exams and be part of a university as a faculty member, as a professor. You didn't choose that traditional path after your PhD. So why this shift?
I think it's because I felt unfulfilled with my research during my PhD. I was working on sex development, understanding how uh, we get males, females, and everything in between. And I thought that this type of knowledge is important, but But thinking about global problems and priorities, it was not really a priority for the world at the moment. We have the risk of emerging technologies being misused. We have climate change really just hitting us at the back door. Now we can see what happened when a pandemic is not treated seriously and protocols are not developed prior in order to know what to do exactly at what moment, and etc. So I think that's part of why I felt that I needed to do something that could have more applied um, results and short-term results. Although thinking about policy, you cannot really think about short-term results, but still I find it more linked to finding solutions to global priorities, and that's some of my concerns. And I don't know why it took so long, because I was, I don't remember how old I was in 2016, but for sure over my 30s. So but it is it is what it is. I had to live the things that I had to go through in order to find this passion that I have now. And maybe I change it in some years, but I'm quite happy at the moment working on this area.
What would you say? I mean, that one advice, something to the to our new generation of PhDs and people who would like to have this career of research.
I would say to go out of your way to learn more about other fields. Usually when they say that we have to work in a transdisciplinary team, I feel that what they put in our chip was that you have to work with the microbiologist, with the chemist, and with the bioinformatician. But really, to work in a transdisciplinary team is to work with anthropologists, with sociologists, with people in machine learning, because it's a more I feel it's a more compact and more useful way to think about how you conduct research and how you design research. And part of it is also to talk with other stakeholders as policymakers. How does your research fit in the whole cycle of policy? Like, how your research fits with the priorities that your government or the place where you're living now is trying to look for solutions. And the other thing will be also to talk with citizens. I always mention this. I've been working with cancer for many years, with epilepsy, and I never talk with the patient of any of these diseases. And I find this to be a tragedy. And I think that's the same for many scientists and researchers, to never have been able to be close and talk about these things, because I think that it gives you direction. The moment that you talk, they are not just data or samples. There are stories behind the samples that you get at the laboratory. And it's important that you know them, because it shapes you as a person, and then later will shape your research.
How academia can change the way they are working right now? I mean, as you mentioned, a very important point that sometimes we scientist community, young researchers, we are working in the lab, day and night, even on the weekends as well. But we still are, not kept in the real situation. So we can't see the impact that our research can have in future for changing the lives of common people. I think this is a very important fact that academia ignores. I mean, in my opinion, it can change the whole scenario. What do you feel? How this can change? I mean, the way academia is working traditionally.
Well, I think that the curricula at universities could incorporate different new aspects, as science diplomacy, government science advice, global catastrophic risk. This is a topic that really involves so many different areas, and it could be taught at university. When I was teaching at the University of Queensland, I tried to come up with these type of topics to talk with the students. So I think that you don't need to be the director or the dean of a university. If you have the opportunity to be a teacher at some point of your life, just bring up these things that you have learned and think about the global picture and how we are responsible for things that may be happening far away from our borders. And the other thing will be, if you become someone of power at research, let's say you become a PI, or you become someone that is reviewing new proposals for research, I think that it's also important to do some changes there. For example, if I'm working on sex determination, which was my PhD, make your team attend a forum where you have the LGBTQ community talking about the research, how the research is conducted. There are many things that you can learn and understand about how they feel about this research, what they don't understand, and that really shapes you as a person, as I said before. So there are just little changes that we can think about how to do it from our own fronts.
Do you miss your country? Your home country?
Yes, of course, a lot. My family is there, very good friends are there, and yeah, the food is amazing. So there is nothing that I cannot that can replace it. Yes.
What do you miss the most?
My family.
Your family.
Yeah.
And do you cook as well? I mean, when you miss your that Peruvian food, that actually I have heard a lot of good things about that food, by the way.
Yes, and you're in Brazil. I mean, I'm sure there are many Peruvian restaurants there. I found them for sure in Switzerland and in England and Netherlands. So I'm sure that you have it in Brazil. Yeah, it's very easy to buy ingredients online and then they ship it here. And in the Netherlands, I actually just took my bike for 8 minutes and bought it at the kiosk. There was a little shop there. And then I cook. It's not the best, but it's close enough.
What an empowered women actually should give importance to while choosing a life partner, because I think this is very important as well.
Well, definitely that he or she doesn't have like a macho culture inside them, because I think that could cut your wings at some point and you will not even realize because you are quite in love. So the best advice I heard from a very famous scientist in Australia was that the best thing that you can do for progressing in your career is to choose a good partner. And I think it's true. I think with my partner, we are very happy for each other's achievements and dreams, and we follow each other on that path. It has been, for example, that we had to live far apart from each other. I had to be in Peru for a while, and he was in the Netherlands because I got a job in Peru. So we had a long distance relationship. Or it was difficult for me to find a job in the Netherlands, so I went to work in Italy for 6 months, and another 6 months I went to Switzerland to work as well. So we just manage, and it's fine. No, I never heard a complaint about why do you have to go work there. I mean, it was just normal. It's the thing to do because you love your partner and you want to see them happy, and if their work is part of what makes them happy, of course that you're just gonna be very understandable and clapping, when things go well. We moved to the UK because I got this job. This for me was my dream job at the center. So he came with me and he just transferred his job, and then he got a really awesome new job. So now he's working at AstraZeneca, which happens to be 8 minutes by bike from here. So he's happy.
The same as you support your partners. Actually, the whole universe combines powers to support you as well. Okay. So, Clarissa, someone sitting back home, listening to this talk and having a master's degree or a PhD degree, not knowing where to start, no job, nothing, and would like to have a career like you, or would like to travel abroad, from where they should start? There's a very common question that I received today from someone, and so this is the same question that I would like to ask you as well. What would be the advice that you would give?
Well, they definitely should go and visit the blog at Ekpa'palek, because we have so many stories about how people has made it, from applying to scholarships and getting it, to not having any scholarship but creating a Facebook page that someone in South Korea saw, and then he was contacted through that Facebook page, and then that led to being offered a master PhD joint program. So please go to the Ekpa'palek blog that I guess Almas will be writing it down later for you. And then in Ekpa'palek we have 35 mentors with so many different backgrounds that have lived in so many different places that you can also contact. And but this program actually is just for Latin Americans at the moment because we have a low capacity. So if you're not Latin American, what I will suggest is to go to podcasts or like YouTube channels like the ones that we are practically doing now, and hear these stories, because you only don't get inspiration, you get tips, you get to know websites, you get to know paths, how to do it. Some people goes to the embassies of Japan in their countries, and then they find out about what are the scholarships that they are offering. Some other ones just have a friend of a friend that went to Mexico to do a master, and then, please, could you put me in contact with that person? I would like to ask them some things if they don't mind. If you have no friends and you know nobody, just go to LinkedIn and try to contact people in a very respectful way for their time and say, hello, my name is blah, blah, blah. I'm very interested in this career path, and I thought that maybe you could spare 20 minutes or 10 minutes with me to tell me about how you made it. A lot of rejections will happen, but you just need the right person to answer to you. And that connection will lead to other connection, and at the end is a network. So I will say be persistent and look for your own opportunities, for your own window of opportunities, because that's something that I have been doing all my adult life, and I keep doing it for my work and for different aspects of my life. And nothing happens if you remain in the same place and still not doing anything. The more you do, the more chances that you have to be successful at what you're looking for. So if you're looking for a scholarship to do something, apply to hundreds. It's not enough to apply to 10 to 50. Really, like I have applied to so many programs and conferences and stipends, and from 100 that you apply, one will be successful, and that's the one that you need. So the more you do, the more chance you will get it.
To be persistent is the key, and not to be afraid of the failures, because the quicker you fail, the quicker you learn. I feel this is the key as well.
I have got used to rejections long time ago. There was a time that I would just wake up and I would choose to my partner, look, another one. And it's like, you just get over it. Like every scholarship has an agenda, every scholarship has different requirements. So you just have to keep pushing until you find the one that you are the best candidate for it.
I think self-motivation is something very important. So in your life, what is that one thing that motivates you?
I think that I've always felt compelled to do something good. And I think that I cannot pass through this life just traveling and having a good time. I think that I also feel responsibility for other people's problems. And I think that if I can contribute with my background to alleviate that, and not even people only, I mean, sometimes I think about all the species and the plants and nature itself, and I feel so much responsibility for it. So if I can contribute from my scientific knowledge to help into something, it matters. So I think that's my motivation, just to try to make this world a little bit better and contribute with my little grain of salt to it, because many people is trying to do it, and I'm happy to be part of that community.
Clarissa, you have given us so many good advices and so much good stuff. I'm going to start my one thing moment, and in this one thing moment, you are going to answer me or just in one word or maximum in one sentence, not more than that. Okay?
Okay, one sentence. Okay, that's better than one word.
So you're ready?
One word or one sentence?
Okay, so let's start. Okay, the first question. You're a morning person or an evening person?
Morning now.
Why?
Recently. Since I got my dogs wake me up at 6 a.m. So I have to take them out, and then I start part of my day doing a small things. So yeah, before, never.
Okay. One thing that you would like to tell to your fellow scientists?
Think about your role in society.
Coffee or tea?
Tea.
One thing you would like to tell your family.
I'm where I am because of you.
You prefer series or movies?
Movies.
Your favorite movie?
The Godfather.
The Godfather, why?
It's about family, and there are so many awesome quotes that me and my family always repeat to each other since forever. The chat of my family on WhatsApp is called Corleone family. So yeah, I guess. I
Okay,
mean,
makes
they were
sense.
terrible. I mean, they were mafia guys. But if you focus on the good things, should be fine.
Family, in one sense, is mafia as well, sometimes, especially when they do emotional blackmailing stuff. Okay. Uh, one thing that makes you proud of yourself.
I think that is to feel empathetic with people, animals, and nature.
One thing you would like to tell to your viewers in general of this video.
Please contact me if you need to. I'm very happy to respond and we can be friends.
One person that contributed to what you are today.
My family again. They are the center of everything.
Okay, one most stupid question you were being asked from Peru.
Yeah, sometimes they are like, why are you always traveling? Like, I don't know, because I like it and because I work and I can pay for it. I don't know.
One thing you would wish would never exist.
Greed.
Your female role model.
My mom.
Name 3 skills that are required for being a scientist.
Curiosity, ethics, and transparency.
Procrastination, how to quit or kick it out.
Think about something that matters to you, something that motivates you to work, and then, yeah, you will do it.
What is your most terrible memory from a lab experiment?
Working with mice is terrible.
Okay, I can ask you why.
There is a lot of concern about not eating meat, but I think there is a whole crazy world when we talk about animal experimentation. Painkillers are based in the work of animals that have been exposed to different and super high levels of pain. Even if it's not pain, I was working on sex development. I sacrificed so many animals to get to different experiments. And I think that what we need in academia still is to not only teach about the reduction, reuse of animal experimentation, but also about alternative methods. Now we have organoids, we have cells, we have in silico, we have AI to help us, to minimize the use of animals. But we also should be more grateful to what all these animals are providing to us and providing to humanity, and just the feeling of feeling thankful for it, even when it's just an animal, should be in the minds of every scientist, I think.
Okay, being a woman of color, one thing that you wish would never exist.
Yeah, discrimination.
Your hobbies or talent that no one knows. I mean, no one means your family may know that, but your colleagues or your friends.
A talent. Well, I make my family and my partner laugh a lot with crazy things I do, like dancing or imitating other people, or like, yeah, just crazy moves and stuff.
You imitate other people? I didn't know that. Wow. I don't know, should I ask you or not to imitate someone famous, or a TV
No,
character?
not in that. Like, for example, if there are like some supermodels, just something new that I bought, they will just pretend to be one, but in a funny, ridiculous way, and then people will laugh. Or if there is a singer, I will just try to imitate the singer and do funny, silly stuff, and then they laugh. Yeah, but it's just something for my family and my partner. Like, yeah.
You're trying to change that traditional way, people imagine the scientists they are serious and, always into work and not making fun and jokes, so you're trying to break that taboo as well.
Yeah, but still I'm quite shy, so I don't think I will never do a TikTok, although I enjoy a lot when I see them or things like that. It's just like from my inner circle. And thank God that it stays there, really.
That's great. One last thing that you would like to share or say say to everyone.
To realize that it's a nice world. I've been for a lot of time thinking that it's gray and ugly and a lot of terrible things happen, and that made me forget that there are a lot of amazing people caring about nature, caring about each other, and we should focus more on them and meet them and get together and make them your friends, because that's the environment that you need in order to flourish and to, you know, they say that you are the average of the 5 people you spend most time with. So choose your friends carefully, because you need to choose people that really inspires you to be better, to that teach you values, that cherish you and makes you feel as part of the family. So yeah, don't waste it with toxic people.
So toxic people, stay away.
Yes, yes, please. Yeah, go with your craziness somewhere else.
Okay, I just forgot. There is another last question, and then I will really say thanks to you for joining us. That last question is that you are from Peru, you have traveled to so many countries around the world. What is that one thing that you say that, hey, just Peru has this, and everyone should visit Peru if, we would like to have, that experience or that one thing or that landscape? What is your suggestion?
I would say to go on a food tour in Peru, because there are so many different types of things in the jungle, in the highlands, in the coast. Then you go to the north, to the south, and it's really, really yummy. And if you're vegetarian, there are a lot of options as well. So don't worry, you will find something that is delicious for you.
Thank you very much, Clarissa. I really love to have you today at my show. And please don't stop. Keep on doing great stuff that you're doing.
Thank you, Almas. I really appreciate that you're taking your time from your life to do these things, to help other people to find their path and their way, and yeah, inspiration and many other things. Congratulations to you.
Thank you very much, Clarissa. Take care of yourself. Bye bye.
Ciao.
Ciao.